Alright. One take. Watch this. No cuts.
I'm not gonna look.
Not gonna mess up once. It's very hard to do. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Welcome back. Episode 27 of Private Lesson. This week's episode with Jamie.
Why are you yelling at the camera?
That was going great. Don't freaking mess it up.
Why are you yelling at the
Do
camera?
not mess it up.
Okay, good.
I gotta speak loudly.
Alright, that's fine.
Hey! Welcome back, episode 27 of Private Lesson. This week's episode, working with Jamie and his son Sinjin, just in a really roughed up corner. So, quick lesson on how and when you should sit when the track starts to get super rough. I'm starting track work on my Supercross build tomorrow, so I'll have a video from that coming up for like our 3-day build, so that'd be pretty cool to follow. All right. Make sure you guys subscribe and all right, make sure you guys subscribe and enjoy the video. All right, I'm not going to give you any instruction yet. Session the inside line 2 or 3 times, and then session the outside rut 2 or 3 times. I just want to see how you guys approach this section as a whole. Do the loop we did before, so you go all the way out and around. One tip I'll give you is that when I do crest over this hill, I'm getting really far back to rider's right. Even though I'm hitting the roller kind of the middle left, I jump it so that I end up jumping to the outside in the straightaway. So it opens me up and it gives me the options when I get to this turn. Not bad. Oh. All right, so I'm out here with Jamie and his son Sinjin. Working 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow. Worked with these guys a whole bunch. So as far as attack position goes, they are dialed in. We're getting really specific here as far as section work, with the main focus being on where you can stand and where you can sit. Super rough right here. So we're at Tomahawk MX. Track was left rough from like a 3-day weekend where it was open to the public. Today it's just us 2 at the track, or us 3. So we got super rough and nice and loamy entry. A lot of braking bumps coming in. And we got an inside option here, super loamy, smooths out. And then hopefully you guys can see this in the camera. What it does is it goes into a huge dip, big roller, big roller, big roller. I don't know how acceleration bumps formed this large. Got Jamie taking a nice outside rut. So we're gonna focus on both. I mean, outside rut is pretty straightforward, pretty standard, nice and smooth. You got a solid rut all the way around. Just they got to keep in mind it's pretty freshly formed, so it can give way easy. But this inside is where things get tricky. I haven't given them any instruction yet in this specific section. I mean, I have to say you guys are hitting this really well for what it is. I think the both of you have a really good understanding of how to approach it. It's just a matter of making sure we're being as efficient as we can energy-wise, because this section can tire you out really quick. On the entry, try to open it up as much as you can. You guys are doing a good job of coming in to the right and swooping in. Just like I always tell you, you can't sit till after the last bump. So you got a couple big bumps here. You shouldn't even be thinking about hitting the seat until we're past this last dip. So your sitting point should be basically right in line with this stump. If we're going to sit, right here is our time to do so. Reason being, it's a nice fluffy berm and pretty smooth. Doesn't really have any rollers in it. And then on the exit, this is where we can kind of strategize. So the both of you were approaching it the same way. You were sitting through here, and then right here, your butts were coming off the seat here, and you were lofting the front end over the roller, which I'm pretty happy with that. It's a little bit more effort than the way that I do it is I sit around the turn, I sit into the dip, and I actually seat bounce the roller out of the turn and just jump. So kind of the same idea that you guys were, but you were standing before the roller and lofting. I can sit in the actual dip and then just seat bounce double out. And what I do is I let that seat bounce naturally compress my suspension, unload me right in my stand-up position. So it's not like I'm forcing myself out of the seat beforehand. Or the other alternative is to try to stand a little earlier like you guys were and be strategic with lofting the front to the top of the first roller and then lofting it again over the second rollers. What you don't want to do is loft it over the first one and then end up in that second dip, because then you're screwed.
I feel like the outside line is actually faster, but it's really hard to see coming up there.
It's just hard to get into it, sort of?
Can't see it.
Oh, really? Why? Because it's blocked by all this mess here?
I guess it's just the color, because I actually thought I was going to hit you on the one time.
Did you play around with the outside at all?
No.
Okay. Outside is pretty self-explanatory.
It's very smooth.
To the camera. It's smooth. You just got to be patient to not blow the rut out. Definitely a good alternative. I think for the sake of this drill, let's just practice the inside at first, and then we'll worry about the outside after. For a race line, I think it's just still, it's probably too much real estate. It depends though. It'd be a good line at the beginning part of the motos. Take this, great. If you get super tired and you're exhausted and you can't physically do this the right way, then you would resort to that outside line, just hit it nice and smooth. You guys just always both have to remember, if you're riding the outside, you're probably covering, it'd be interesting to see in the Lit Pro, you're probably covering an extra 100 feet of track. So you got to go that much faster to go the same speed. Like if I did a stopwatch from the roller to the takeoff of that. You accelerate hard on dirt like this because it is so much mulch. Like, you just have to be careful. So first time when I went to really get on the throttle hard out of here, I just got a bunch of wheel spin when I went to jump it.
Well, you line it a little bit sideways on that.
Right, because I got a bunch of wheel spin when I went, yeah, and got on the gas, I lit it up. So the next time through, I did the same technique, but I was just easier on the throttle. Stand super deep, and then I just sit into the pocket so I can jump out. I think that's the most efficient way to do it. If you sit too early, you don't have the control in the mid part of the turn, and then I don't know, you almost like you get dragged off the back of the bike by the time you're at that 3/4 mark, so you just pulled out of position. This is personal preference. I always choose to stand deep into the turn because I do have so much control when I stand. You can lean the bike under you and have that control. What I would say is that's third gear. So definitely do third gear on this bike, because you don't want to have to worry about getting an upshift out of the corner. Let me do it on the 250. I'd say it's probably going to be third gear on this as well, and then you would just get an upshift